Good evening. This is the latest transmission from They from mid-September 2012. We started the meditation this morning and I thought, gee, I wonder if we're going back to the tower again. No, I ended up in the clouds and they were all just very casual and I said, no more Supreme Court robes? And they laughed and said, no, we're having a casual day. I said, that's good. I always like it when we're floating around in the clouds anyway. That's just fine. We started right in with they speaking. It seems like they're always listening to what's going on. They seem to be always listening to my conversations. I don't know if they listen 24/7, but they seem to pick up a lot. And they wanted to teach a little bit of a lesson today as to why they are called they. It was a lesson for me just as much as it was anybody else. One of they revealed himself to me as to who he actually was as far as our understanding goes in naming people. Up until that moment, I was laughing and kidding with them. In fact, they had said, I'm not sure what we were actually laughing about, but they had said, we love to hear you laugh. So I was very relaxed until this one being stepped forward and revealed himself to me who he was, at least as far as our understanding goes. All of a sudden, I was very self-conscious and I couldn't think of a thing to say. I was just so overwhelmed. They said, see, this is why we don't tell you who we are. This is exactly why, because you get, not just me personally, but you in a general sense, you get so overwhelmed and so self-conscious that suddenly you can't be yourself. You can't talk and you definitely can't laugh. They had just finished telling me how much they loved to hear me laugh. All of a sudden, I just stood there like a dumb bunny and I couldn't say anything. I just felt as though anything that came to my mouth would sound so stupid that nobody would ever want to hear it, and certainly not someone of that caliber. They said, part of your lesson this morning is for all those people who always want to know how come we don't identify ourselves as anything else but they. They have always answered this way because we get so wrapped up in names and titles, we meaning the general populace of this earth. They don't want us to get wrapped up in somebody's title. They showed me flat out this morning exactly what happens when all of a sudden we are face to face with someone that we have such high regard for. Last week we talked about how to introduce yourself to your own group of guides and angels and descended masters. What they are saying is, please remember this lesson because chances are pretty good they are not going to identify themselves either. I don't know what they will call themselves, and it's not up for me to know, but this is the lesson why, and this is your group that we're talking about, not mine. I guess this was step 2. Step 1 was telling people, now the time has come for you to learn how to meet your own group, and step 2 is don't badger them to identify themselves to you. From all my interactions in the last 25 years, I know that people really get hung up and want to know who they're talking to. This is the exact reason why they don't. That's lesson 2. Lesson 3 carried on. Sometimes your group will have you do things you don't want to do, as they had me do this morning. We're just sitting around on this cloud, and they had me deliberately watch Libya. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to watch people hurting and upset. They said, that's exactly why we want you to look, because we want you to release your anxiety and your attachment and just be the observer. I would try to do what they asked me, and then I would find something else to think about, and they would say again, Anne, we want you to pay attention and look again. And we did this over and over because I don't know how many times it took. I would try to find something else to think about that I would rather think about or look at, and they would say, okay, now pay attention, until I could finally let go and release all my predisposed thoughts about the situation, until I could just completely let go and watch this as the observer. The observer has no inclination other than just being the observer. Much of the time spent in meditation was spent on practicing to be the observer and having non-attachments. And that is the message for today, and so it is. I'm Anne McAvoy. I'm a psychic astrologer in Palm Coast, Florida. And my website is www.goldentrines.com. You're welcome to go to the website and kind of cruise around. There's over 20 YouTube messages now, and there's over 2 years worth of written messages from they that are on record if you want to contact me and read some of the older ones that aren't on YouTube. Have a great day.